The ending of Enola Holmes 3 is about far more than stopping Moriarty or rescuing Sherlock. Beneath the kidnappings, secret codes, and hidden treasures lies a story about identity, inherited guilt, and choosing your own future instead of letting history define you. Every mystery points back to one central question: who gets to decide who you become? At first, it seems like Moriarty kidnaps Sherlock simply to settle old scores with the Holmes family. But as the investigation unfolds, it becomes clear that revenge is only part of a much larger strategy. Moriarty understands something that nobody else does. Enola is the one detective capable of solving the mystery she can't solve herself. She already knows the Afghan gold exists, but she doesn't know where it's hidden. Peter Tewksbury buried the secret decades earlier, taking its location to the grave. Rather than searching blindly, Moriarty creates an elaborate chain of clues that only Enola can unravel. Every event is carefully engineered: Sherlock's kidnapping, Lady Tewksbury's abduction, the hotel fire, the dying sergeant's clues, Sherlock's coded message, even the wedding in Malta. None of these events are random. They're breadcrumbs leading Enola toward Peter Tewksbury's secret cave. Enola spends most of the movie believing she is one step behind Moriarty, only to realize she's been doing exactly what Moriarty wanted all along. By the time Enola reaches the cave, Moriarty doesn't need to solve the mystery anymore. Enola has already solved it for her. Sherlock's message initially appears confusing. Coast sounds like an unrelated location in Afghanistan, but it eventually becomes the key that unlocks the entire conspiracy. The Battle of Coast wasn't simply another military campaign. It was where British officers secretly stole an enormous quantity of Afghan gold while disguising the theft as a legitimate wartime operation. Innocent civilians died, the treasure disappeared, and official records were rewritten to hide Britain's crimes. The surviving officers blamed Maltese soldiers for mutiny, destroying countless innocent lives to protect their reputations. Peter Tewksbury eventually regretted his role in the operation. Instead of allowing Britain to profit from stolen wealth, he secretly sank the shipment and hid the treasure inside the cave he later visited with his young son. Those childhood pirate adventures suddenly become heartbreaking. Peter wasn't pretending to search for treasure, he already knew exactly where it was. One of the biggest moments comes after Sherlock is finally rescued. After enduring imprisonment and torture, Sherlock points a gun directly at Moriarty. For a brief moment, it feels like he's ready to execute her. From Sherlock's perspective, the argument makes sense. Every time Moriarty survives, she escapes and hurts more people. Ending her life would guarantee she never returns. But Enola reminds him of something even more important. Justice isn't supposed to become revenge. Earlier in the movie, Sherlock criticized Enola for allowing emotion to cloud her judgment. Now the roles are reversed. Sherlock is the one acting emotionally. Enola simply repeats the lesson he once taught her. That reminder pulls Sherlock back from the edge. Instead of becoming the very kind of person Moriarty believes everyone truly is, Sherlock proves that people still have the ability to choose restraint over vengeance. It's one of the clearest examples of how much the siblings have influenced one another. Sherlock teaches Enola logic, Enola teaches Sherlock compassion. Perhaps the biggest emotional surprise comes after the mystery is solved. Instead of embracing his aristocratic status, Tewksbury gives it up. After learning that his father helped orchestrate one of Britain's darkest wartime crimes, he realizes he doesn't want to inherit a legacy built on privilege and violence. He refuses to pretend that history never happened. Instead of remaining Lord Tewksbury, he chooses to become Ernest Tebety Gore once again. The decision perfectly mirrors Enola's own journey. Throughout the movie, Enola fears marriage because she believes becoming Lady Tewksbury means sacrificing the person she's fought so hard to become. But Ernest's choice proves the opposite. He isn't asking Enola to change for him, he's changing alongside her. Their relationship becomes one of equals rather than one built on titles or expectations. The wedding at the end isn't simply a romantic payoff after all the action. It's the resolution of Enola's internal conflict. At the beginning of the film, she believes marriage threatens her identity. She worries she'll stop being Enola Holmes and become someone defined entirely by her husband's name and social position. Everything that happens in Malta slowly dismantles that fear. Sherlock eventually accepts that marriage doesn't erase Enola's independence. Ernest rejects the expectations of his own family. Even Eudora performs the ceremony in her own rebellious style, emphasizing equality instead of tradition. By the time the wedding finally happens, nothing about it follows society's rules. Instead of becoming Lady Enola Tewkesbury, she chooses to remain Enola Eudora Holmes while still marrying the man she loves. The marriage succeeds because neither person is giving up who they are. The Afghan gold represents more than stolen treasure. It symbolizes generations of buried truth. The British government hid its crimes, the Tewkesbury family buried its shame, Sherlock buried his emotions, Enola buried her fears about marriage. Every character spends the film uncovering something that was deliberately hidden. By exposing the truth instead of running from it, they finally break free from the expectations imposed by family, society, and history. That's why the movie ends with a wedding rather than another mystery. At the beginning, Enola tells us every good story starts with a wedding. By the end, she realizes she had it backwards. Sometimes a wedding isn't the beginning of a fairy tale. Sometimes it's the reward that comes after two people have already discovered who they truly are.